Study unit 2, we will start on study unit 3. It's a very short study unit, but still I will have one more class. I'm exceeding the time available because of the issues we had in the connection. We couldn't really finish it. So I will take one more class. Otherwise, we were supposed to start risk management the next day, but we will have this continued for one more day, I believe. Then only I will be able to finish it. Anyway, we will not hurry it. We'll do it in the proper speed. So let's do this question. Question number 12 from the study text. What's the book value per share of common stock? We have discussed this, how to find the book value per common stock. When you find the book value per common stock from the net worth as per the books, as per the public financial statement, you have to subtract the preferred equity claims. Preferred equity claims means if the question is giving any dividend in arrear, you have to reduce that from the equity. Equity, another word for equity is net worth, right? And if the question is saying that the preferred stock is to be redeemed at a premium of $2, or it has to be redeemed at 102. 102 means 2% over the face value. If anything of that sort is given, you have to reduce that value, not the book value. Okay, I have told you that very clear. The formula for book value per share is book value per share or book value per share of common stock. Both are same, because this book value we normally, not normally, we will compute only with respect to the common stock. So simply when they say book value per share also, it is for the common stock. So book value per share is equal to total shareholders equity minus preferred equity claims divided by the number of common shares outstanding. Let's do that. Here the net worth is given, and there is no mention about the arrears, preferred dividend in arrear. There is no mention that the common stock will be redeemed at a premium. So you just simply reduce the preferred stock and divide it by the number of shares. You can compute the number of shares when you divide the par value by the face value per share. Do that and give your answer by way of a poll. No, I will give you some time. Those who find the answer, post the answer in the class conversation, then I will give you the poll. Give me the answer in the poll. Some of you also can give the answer once again in the poll. Okay, all of you got the answer. Thank you so much. Really good. So let me give you this. The numerator is the book value. That is, book value per share is equal to 49 million minus 12 million. Do not take this 12 million if they are giving an information that the preferred stock is to be redeemed at 102 or 2%, 20% or 2% or 3% over the face value, then that value. If they are giving an information that any of the preferred stock dividend are in arrear, or they have declared this, it is not incorporated, then you have to reduce that. If there is a cumulative preferred stock, even if they haven't declared it, if it is in arrear, you have to reduce it. But there is nothing of that sort here. Divided by 10 million is the face value, but $5 per share is the this thing. So 49 minus 12 is 37. 10 divided by is 2. So there are 2 million shares and 37 million in the numerator as this thing. 37 divided by 2 is 18.5. All of you got the answer. But I have just refreshed your memory on the theory on that. Next, question number 13. A company has 100,000 outstanding common shares with a market value of 20 per share. What is the price earning ratio? P ratio. How do you, this is very important ratio. It is very popular ratio in the press. It is commonly referred to as P ratio. P multiple, they say. So this ratio, you should not be writing it as percentage, it's a multiple. What's the price? You know it, it is given. What is the earning? You are given dividend and dividend payout ratio, so you can work back earnings per share, right, and then divide that. So you are given dividend per share and dividend payout ratio. From there, if $2 is 40% of the earning, how much is the earning? You can find it out and divide the price by that number. So I'll give you a poll. It's a very simple question, so you shouldn't be taking too much time. And I have already told you how to do it also. Okay, I'm ending the poll. Some of you haven't given. Okay, all of you got the answer. But let me tell you, P ratio is market price per share. That is the price divided by earnings per share. Market price per share is given directly, $20. Earnings per share is nothing but dividend per share divided by zero point 0.4, because this is dividend per share is given as 40% of earnings per share, right? So dividend per share is given as 40% of earnings per share. So what is earnings per share? Dividend per share divided by 0.4, 40%. So you have 20 divided by 2 divided by 0.4. 2 divided by 0.4 is 5. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. Choice D is the answer. All of you got the answer anyway. Next, question number 14. In calculating diluted earnings per share, when a company has convertible bonds outstanding, the number of common shares outstanding must be dash, right? Should be increased or decreased to adjust for the conversion feature of bonds. So you know that when the conversion is happening, the shares will go up. Okay, it will be increased. When that happens, I mean that's a denominator adjustment. And the net income must be what? If it is converted, you don't have to pay to those people. So that's available for the claims of the residual claim. Residual claim is with the equity shareholders, common shareholders. So you don't have to pay to the specific debt holders or to the preferred stockholders, right? So that also will be increased, right? So what's the answer? It will be increased. See, when in calculating diluted earnings per share, you have a basic earnings per share, you have the numerator and denominator. To that, you are assuming that if there is a conversion takes place, what would be this? Is there a dilution or not? That is what ultimately you are trying to find out. But how do you compute that ratio? You take the numerator. If these bonds or convertible instruments are converted, then you will not be paying the interest, so you will be adding back the after tax interest. If it's a preferred stock getting converted, you will be adding back the preferred dividend which you have subtracted already there in the BEPS computation. That's a numerator adjustment. So the uh, you will adjust for the net income must be increased by the amount of interest expense on the bonds if it's a bond. It is increased by the dividend assumed to be distributed if it's a preferred stock. Okay, that's the numerator adjustment. Okay, then denominator, the number of common shares outstanding must be increased to adjust for the conversion feature of the bonds, right? If the bond is converted, how many shares are getting added? So that is the way you compute the diluted earnings per share. Then you will see, you will compare that with the BEPS. Then if the DEPS is less than the BEPS computed, right, then there is a dilution, you will take the DEPS. If there is no dilution, DEPS is same as the BEPS. Okay, when can there be a dilution? If you are already paying something less than the equity shareholders, then once it is converted, then they will also eat away. But if they are already paid something more than the equity shareholders return, obviously there will not be any dilution once it is converted. Okay. So A is the answer. Next, there is a fact pattern given. When there is a fact pattern, normally a fact pattern will be having so much items which you may not be really requiring the particular question. So do not waste your time going through the fact pattern. Instead, you read the question and then to the extent needed for the question, you selectively read the fact pattern. Here the question is expected common stock dividend per share of the common. This thing. What is the common stock dividend per share? Now you go through this. think it's time for some of you to give the answer. I'm giving a poll. Question 15. A, B, C, D. Give your answer. Very good. Sami and Subin have given the answer. So Sisna also has given the answer. I'm ending the poll. Nanma, Rahana, I'm ending the poll, and now the reason I am doing this is I am given the understanding that when the poll is open, you will not be able to read what is there at the bottom. That's the reason I'm just taking it out. The question is actually how much is the dividend per share, right? So you have to really see the earning. So here 35 million is the earning. This is the EBIT. So minus interest expense. So EBIT minus interest. This is what attract tax, right? This is the earnings before tax. Into 1 minus tax rate is the after tax profit. From there you will be giving out the preference dividend, right? So here this is the earnings per share, earnings. This is the total earnings, right? But out of that you will be giving, this is the total earnings available to the equity shareholders. Did you understand this formula? This earnings available to equity shareholders equal to EBIT minus I, that is the earnings before tax. When you subtract 1 minus T, T is the tax percentage, you will get what is the earnings after tax, right? This is the earnings after tax or profit after tax. From here, you will be paying out the preference dividend. After paying the preference dividend, what is available is the earnings available to the, or netting available to the common shareholders. From there, the company has got a practice that only 30% is paid, right? So from here, this is the earnings per share. From here, the company has got a practice that they will be paying only 30% as dividend. So into 30% or dividend payout ratio. Right? This is the dividend. This whole thing divided by number of shares, you will get the dividend per share. So let's do that. 35 million minus 5 million is 30 million. 30 million, so dividend per share, 30 million, 35 million minus 5 million is the profit after it, profit before tax, right? And 40% is the income tax rate. So when you subtract that, 30 million into 60 percentage, 30 million into 60%. That 30 million into 0.6 is 18 million. Minus the preferred dividend is 4 million. So that means it is 14 million in the numerator, right? And number of shares, when you divide it, you will get EPS, right? 2 million is the number. It's all in million, so you can just continue with that. So this is the earnings per share into what is the dividend payout ratio, 30% when you multiply, okay, 0.3. When you multiply, so that you will get the total dividend. Total dividend is 4.2 divided by 2 is $2.1 per share is the dividend per share. I mean 2.1 is the dividend per share. I think you all of you understood. If any of you have still a doubt, just raise your hand. No. So everybody understood. Very good. Next question. Same fact pattern, isn't it? Yeah, same fact pattern. But now the question is, if Dawson Corporation's common stock is expected to trade at a price earning ratio of 8%, of $8. So you have already computed earnings. So now you have already computed earnings per share, multiplied with 40% to get the dividend per share, right? Sorry, 30% to get the dividend per share. So that's the same way you compute the earnings per share. Now divide the, I mean, you are also given PE ratio. PE ratio is equal to, it's given 8, that is equal to market price per share divided by earnings per share, right? So what is the market price per share? That is 8 into earnings per share. So you had already computed earnings per share, but the numbers are not there, so you can compute once again, multiply with the uh, PE ratio, you will get the answer, right? So let me give you a point. Okay, so most of you got the answer. So yeah, all of you are getting the answer, I think, except one. Yeah, that also. So you got it actually. Earnings per share computation, when you do it, you have 35 minus 5, 30 million, right? Into 60% is after tax profit, that is 18 million. Minus 4 million is the net income available to the equity shareholders, that is 14 minus 4 is, sorry, 18 minus 4 is 14 million, right? That's there for 2 million shares. So divided by 2 million, it is 7. That is the earnings per share. So 8 into 7 is 56. Choice B is the answer. Next question. Question number 17. Company paid out one half of the last year's earnings in dividend. So 50% is the dividend payout ratio. Earnings increased by 20% and the amount of its dividends increased by 15% in the current year. What is the dividend payout ratio? Think of it and post your answer in the class conversation. Post your answer in the class conversation. Payout ratio, right? So that means like 50% was the dividend payout ratio in the last year. So 1 by 2 was the last year's dividend. Earnings increased by 20%. So this is what dividend payout ratio means. Dividend payout ratio, right?